Hey, Wanderlust souls! Welcome back to our channel, where we explore the most breathtaking destinations around the world. Get ready to discover European cities destroyed by overtourism. Europe is home to some of the most beautiful and historic cities in the world. But what happens when these iconic destinations are overwhelmed by millions of visitors every year? Overtourism has changed the face of some of Europe's most beloved cities, leaving behind a trail of destruction and frustration for locals. Today, we're diving into the impact of overtourism and exploring the European cities that are struggling to cope with their popularity. First, what is overtourism? Overtourism occurs when too many visitors flood a destination, leading to overcrowding, damage to local ecosystems, and a deteriorating quality of life for residents. What was once a great source of income through tourism can become a nightmare as locals deal with increased pollution, rising costs, and even displacement. In 2019, Europe saw over 745 million international tourist arrivals, with cities like Venice, Barcelona, and Amsterdam at the top of the list. But in some cases, overtourism is damaging the very charm that attracted visitors in the first place. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more travel insights and hidden gems across the world. Make sure to stay tuned until the end for tips on how you can travel responsibly and help preserve these iconic destinations. Amsterdam, Netherlands. From tourist playground to controlled access, our adventure. Start with the city of canals, bicycles, and liberal policies has also felt the negative effects of overtourism. With over 20 million visitors every year, many locals feel like their city has been taken over by tourists looking for a party. Popular areas like the Red Light District and the Anne Frank House have become so crowded that locals avoid them entirely. In response, Amsterdam's government has implemented various measures to control the flow of tourists, including banning new hotels in the city center and cracking down on nuisance behavior from rowdy visitors. New regulations on Airbnb and other short-term rentals. In a further effort to manage overtourism, Airbnb rentals have been limited in some parts of the city, and officials are encouraging visitors to explore lesser-known areas. Amsterdam's government hopes to preserve the city's unique culture and history while still allowing tourism to thrive in a more sustainable way. Athens, tourism and heritage struggle. Athens, Greece, the cradle of Western civilization, sees millions of tourists visiting its ancient ruins each year. While tourism is a key part of the Greek economy, the crowds are putting enormous pressure on the city's archaeological sites. The Acropolis and other historical landmarks are at risk from the sheer volume of visitors, and local infrastructure struggles to keep up with the rising demand. The local authority. The authorities in Athens are implementing measures to limit the number of visitors to popular sites like the Acropolis, introducing timed entry tickets and promoting lesser-known attractions. They are also working on improving infrastructure and encouraging off-season tourism to reduce the strain on the city's historic landmarks. Barcelona, residents versus tourists. Next, we head to Barcelona, Spain. Famous for its architecture, beaches, and vibrant culture, Barcelona has seen an explosion in tourism over the past decade, with nearly 30 million visitors per year. But the influx of tourists has come at a cost. In certain neighborhoods, residents are fighting back against the ever-growing number of Airbnb rentals and tourism-related businesses that have driven up property prices and disrupted daily life. Local residents, in an interview, are saying, "It's impossible to live in peace. Every corner is filled with tourists, noise, and trash. We feel like we're losing our city." New tourist management policies in Barcelona. To combat this, the city has imposed stricter regulations on tourist accommodations and launched campaigns encouraging more responsible tourism. But is it enough to save Barcelona from overtourism? Hallstatt, Austria's hidden gem, overrun by overtourism. Once a hidden gem, has been catapulted into the spotlight thanks to its stunning Instagram-worthy views. But with a population of just 800 residents, Hallstatt now sees nearly 1 million tourists annually, overwhelming the small village. The influx has led to overcrowded streets, noise pollution, and environmental stress, as Hallstatt's infrastructure wasn't designed to handle this level of tourism. The authorities in Hallstatt have introduced visitor caps and restricted access to certain areas to control the overwhelming influx of tourists. They are also promoting sustainable tourism practices and encouraging visitors to explore off-peak times to preserve the village's cultural and environmental integrity. Iceland. From secluded wilderness to tourist hub, Iceland, with its stunning landscapes and natural wonders, has seen a massive tourism boom in recent years. In just a few decades, the number of visitors has skyrocketed to over 2 million annually, far exceeding its population of 370,000. This surge has taken a toll on the environment, with increased foot traffic leading to erosion, litter, and damage to fragile ecosystems. Even famous spots like the Blue Lagoon are now overcrowded, losing their sense of serenity. Iceland's efforts to promote sustainable tourism. To combat this, the local authority has made efforts to promote sustainable tourism by limiting access to certain areas and educating visitors on preserving the environment. Paris, France, a city at risk, the City of Lights, attracts over 30 million visitors each year. While tourism fuels the city's economy, many locals are feeling overwhelmed by the growing crowds. Iconic areas like the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre are often packed, making it difficult to truly appreciate their beauty. Local protests against Airbnb and tourist disruptions. Beyond the famous landmarks, neighborhoods are suffering from the rapid rise of Airbnb rentals, pushing out residents and raising living costs. Even Paris, with its vast resources, is struggling to manage overtourism. The authorities are limiting the number of short-term rentals, particularly through platforms like Airbnb, to help preserve housing for locals and reduce the impact of overtourism. Additionally, they are promoting sustainable tourism initiatives by encouraging visitors to explore less crowded neighborhoods and visit off-peak seasons to alleviate pressure on major landmarks. Rome, Italy. The Eternal City is experiencing overtourism. Rome is home to some of the most famous ancient monuments in the world, but with over 10 million annual visitors, these landmarks are under constant strain. From the Colosseum to the Vatican, crowds have turned Rome's historic sites into tourist traps. Damage to the Colosseum and Trevi Fountain from overtourism activities. Increased wear and tear on monuments, graffiti, and litter are becoming serious problems. The city has started imposing fines on disruptive tourist behavior, but locals worry it's not enough to protect Rome's ancient treasures. The local authority are implementing measures to combat overtourism by enforcing stricter regulations around major tourist sites, including fines for disruptive behavior and bans on eating or sitting near landmarks, like the Trevi Fountain. They have also introduced limits on visitor numbers to popular attractions, such as the Colosseum, and are promoting lesser-known sites to distribute tourist traffic more evenly across the city. Santorini, a small island, overrun. Santorini, Greece, a dream destination for many, has become a victim of its own popularity. With nearly 2 million visitors annually, the island's infrastructure is strained, and its famed beaches and narrow streets can barely cope with the daily influx of tourists from all over the world. The local residents are being forced out due to the high cost of living driven by the booming tourism industry, making housing unaffordable. Additionally, the island's infrastructure is overwhelmed by the massive influx of tourists, reducing the quality of life for locals. The environmental concerns rise with water shortages and waste disposal issues. The small island is struggling to maintain its identity amidst the crowds. The authority in Santorini are limiting the number of cruise ship arrivals by capping daily visitor numbers to reduce overcrowding. They are also promoting sustainable tourism practices by encouraging off-season travel and investing in infrastructure improvements to better manage the flow of tourists. Our final destination is Venice, Italy. Sinking under the weight of overtourism, Venice, the floating city of canals, is drowning in overtourism, with over 25 million visitors annually and a local population of just 50,000. Massive cruise ships erode its foundations, while overcrowding makes daily life difficult for Venetians. Protests against cruise ships and overtourism in Venice. The locals are protesting and trying to get their city back to normal. The local government are implementing policies to curb tourism by limiting the number of cruise ships and introducing entrance fees, but the damage may already be irreversible for this historic city. Global solutions and how you can help. Overtourism is a global issue, but there are solutions. Governments are implementing policies to manage the flow of visitors, protect natural and historical sites, and encourage responsible tourism. But it's also up to us as travelers. Visit during off-season, respect local cultures, explore lesser-known cities. We can help by choosing to travel during off-season, exploring lesser-known destinations, and being mindful of the impact we have on the places we visit. Responsible travel ensures these iconic cities will be preserved for future generations. So next time you plan your European adventure, think beyond the usual tourist traps, educate yourself with the destination tourism laws, and book your vacation activities in advance in order to mitigate unnecessary disruptions. Let's help preserve these destinations by traveling responsibly. Leave us your comment and your solution to overtourism. Please like, share, and subscribe for more travel tips and destination guides. Safe travels, and see you in the next video.